Welcome back to another Fire Friday. I am so excited for everyone to meet my dear friend, Tia Bellis. And I will tell you, after you watch her and get to hear her story, you will also be as obsessed as I am with her. Someone that from the minute I met her and she walked into my office once and we talked and we are like, we are going to be friends and you're not going to ignore me. From the first time she ever said that, we have been just, I would say, real estate biffles and then became real life biffles, good friends, best friends for life. Welcome, Tia. I am so excited that you're on my show. Obviously, this is a show where we get to inspire people. We get to show them that they have the ability to dream and to go out there and build whatever they want. And we happen to have real estate as a vessel. So you, my friend, are the perfect fit to be on this show because you are truly an inspiration. You've built something over the last 7 years that is remarkable and that people in our market respect. I personally respect you so much. And as a single agent with just a TC, which is a great business model as well, super profitable, a lot of agents aspire to build what you have built. A consecutive, I would say 15 million plus business over the last 5 years, been in the business 7 years. Last year did a little over 18 million in production. And I'll never forget, every year, mid-year, you'll call me, you're like, oh my God, I don't know. And then you just crush your numbers. You focus on the principles, you focus on the basics. So I know inquiring minds are going to want to know how you do it, how you did it, and what it takes to be a top agent. So thank you, my friend, for being here and being willing to share.
Well, thank you for having me.
So tell us a little bit. How'd you get started? I know we said it's been 7 years, but so you just got lucky and you just became the successful real estate agent overnight, or what was that like?
No. So I started at the beginning of 2015, and I was very young. I was 24 years old, turning 25, or I may have been 25. I can't remember. Anyways, I was really young, so my sphere was, people getting out of college, ton of debt, was not looking to buy houses or anything. So it was February and it was Valentine's Day. And my boyfriend said, well, what do you want for Valentine's Day? And I said, I want you to buy my leads for me. And at that time, I was doing Realtor.com. And he said, okay, I will buy them for 6 months. I'll pay $1,000 a month, which back then was like, you got a ton of leads for $1,000 a month. So I was like, okay, great. So for 6 months, he said, this is going to be your Valentine's, gift. And that's where I kind of started because I did have, I used to work for a finance company, like a secondhand finance company. So I did collections and I would call. So I knew I was good on the phone. So I said,
like, if you just get me enough people on the phone, I know that I'm going to be able to build a business around it.
Right.
So I love that story. So it's like you knew you had a vision of building a business, but obviously you needed the capital to invest in it. You had the desire to do so. And, instead of someone whining and dining you with, bags cost expensive. Hey, shout out to Doug, who's a great man. And I'm a huge fan of his. He always loves to shower you. He's like, hey, I want to buy you, like, what do you want, babe? I want to buy you what you want. You're like, and help me invest in my business. I think that is so brilliant. And just, anybody who's listening, like, totally not short-sighted. Like, that was totally like a boss move. And I admire that of you. So, and he said yes. So 6 months in, did you know you had this timeline? Like, I got to make this work because my boyfriend just gifted me $6,000 to invest in my business.
Well, I was like, well, hopefully this works, So from my first closing, I had 3 closings in May. Like it started February and by May I had 3 closings and I was like, oh, wow. I made $15,000. I was like so excited, like, oh my God, and so I started getting on a roll. And within that first year from May to December, I did a little over 3 million in sales. And then I started taking on, my $1,000 a month. And then I started to increase. And the following year I did 6 million, then 10, 13, 15. And then I got to about 18.6 million last year.
That's awesome. So I think early on you realized the power of growing your database. You realized the power of investing in your business, like any other business. I think you were mentioning when we were talking offline about, if you're going to open a boutique or you're going to open a business, right, you need to invest in it. And I asked you, Tia, what do you want agents to know? What do you want agents to know about what worked for you, and maybe how they should look at their business and approach it? And um, you said, I want them to learn that it's important to invest in their business. And of course, not everybody has someone who's willing to lend them or put on a credit card or, finance, let's say, lead generation, or whatever. But there's always obviously the hard work and the sweat equity that we put in. But you also do other things in your business. You do things that can be scalable for any agent who's looking to really tap into their database and their sphere, who your sphere now is a little older now. So I'm sure they all bought homes and a lot of them hit you up. But like, I know you do things like letters and postcards, and tell us a little bit about what, aside from the lead flow, for anyone who maybe says, hey, I don't have, or maybe market-based pricing or realtor.com is priced out of their market, right? And they can't, you've always been someone willing to have multiple pillars of your business. But when it comes to, the day-to-day tasks that an agent can do, such as the simple things, the basic things, you still do some of those things, right? What are some of those things you do?
I mean, so one thing I did from the beginning, and I will never stop doing, I don't care how many clients I have, is I handwrite my Christmas cards every single year.
Sure.
And I literally personalize them. I go through, hey, Veronica, I have Merry Christmas, Veronica. I see you and the kids are living it up. They're getting so big. Maybe we need a bigger house. Question mark. So like I do things like that. And actually last year I of course did that. And this year I got 3 listings out of it, and 2 of them sold and bought another house with me, all because they got my Christmas cards. And they were like, Tia, we got your card. It's like you read our mind. One of my clients had a townhouse, and I said, do we need to get you a pool? And we didn't get her a pool, but we got her house, and she wanted a house. And just because I customize them and I, let them know, like, I remember you, I know who you are important to me. I think that really touches them more than what people think.
I love
Because
that.
you would be surprised how many people actually like to have that handwritten, personalized letter.
Well, I watch you on social media, and I know that you get excited when you do these things. That I don't know if it was like a margarita one or even one
Oh yeah.
for like recently a theme. You were like so proud of yourself for doing it, because it's easy to get caught up in the transaction, right? But you stay, connected to your clients, and they know you, like you said, and I've witnessed this. And, I mean, even the seamstress you sent me to loves you, and she knows you sell real estate, right? And I know you'd be the one like, I'll cut you if you don't use me,
Right.
like you have that relationship with your clients that like we are connected for life, and they love you. One of the things I was going to highlight also that I think you do very well is your authenticity. Like, I think that is one of your superpowers. If you follow Tia, you know Tia. To follow Tia is to know Tia. She does not sugarcoat anything. She's just super authentic in who you are. And I think that's one of the things that makes you so fun to be around and fun to like, because, what you see is what you get. And the clients that work with you, get such an authentic version of you. You're not someone who tries to show up one way with your clients and be some completely different. You're very caring. You're a great friend, by the way. I know that for a fact. And it really shows in your work. And even when you're like, you're negotiating, if you're having a situation, you're very vocal about like, I'm going to go to bat for my clients, and, like, hey, we should respect, each other in the industry and all this stuff. So I appreciate your authenticity. How, was there ever a point on social media that you just felt like you needed to be someone that you weren't? And what did shift, or why did you decide to shift, if you did? Or have you always been that, because there's a lot of people who are listening, right? And they struggle with authenticity. They struggle with being their authentic self. I truly did too for a long time. I used to show up as, I don't want to say as a fraud, but how I thought I needed to show up as a realtor, as a professional, and then my whole life was in shambles.
Right.
I feel like that's something that, when I just started to bring authenticity to the forefront of things, my life just fell into place and my business just was so much more authentic. Have you always been that way, or did something click?
Well, first of all, when I first started real estate, I went through my entire Facebook and like my club photos and all that. I like locked them in a private album, and I put and I'm very like I'm not gonna post myself in a bikini or half naked and all that, because I do like to keep my clients on my Facebook, because I want them to see the real me. Like you said, I want them to see like you know you'd be surprised how many people actually watch you. Like my clients will tell me like, oh my god, your dad is so funny, you and your daddy's hilarious, and they really enjoy seeing these things. So I just like for them to see like, hey, I'm not just your realtor, I'm also a friend, and I've become friends with a lot of clients and we have a great relationship. So I kind of, I'm not going to go on there like cursing up a storm or put anything super political, just because I, I'm not passionate enough about any of that stuff anyways, when it comes to politics, to even start posting. And I don't want, my clients to ever feel like I'm one way or another. So I try to kind of, obviously censor those things a little bit, but, I always just felt like being yourself was kind of what makes people either like you, and if they don't, then guess what? You're not for everybody.
And then that's the point I really want to get to, is like, when you're in this competitive industry, right, where everybody has the same MLS,
Hmm.
the same state exam. Your state exam was not any specialer than mine or different, right? And we all want to, end up being successful. What is the one thing that can differentiate you? And it's your authenticity. It's you.
Right.
And people are going to want to do business with you because they really like how you treated them. And of course there's always different ways of generating business, and who falls into whose eyes, right, or who gets,
Right.
in someone's, let's say, funnel, or the opportunity. But if the relationship is there and it's someone that knows you and automatically gets to connect with you and see you from the beginning, they're usually going to choose you because of you. And if
Right.
you're not showing up 100% as you, then they're not, you're really eliminating your value proposition, or your most unique value proposition, which is you, your personality, your energy. So I appreciate that. And I just want people to be inspired to be more authentic on social media. I remember someone telling me once, you really should stop posting so much positive stuff, because you're not like a Tony Robbins, you're not a motivational speaker, and maybe you should stick to your lane. And I never forget that. I am so glad I did not listen to that person. I am so glad that I didn't let one person's negative naysaying, mindset keep me from being the person that I feel like I was meant to be. In my moments of darkness, it was my desire and my positivity to be optimistic that got me through a lot in my life.
Right.
And I'm glad that, that happened, because it made me realize, no, that's something that's important to me. But I'm glad that I didn't stop because someone felt that they had the need to judge the way I show up on social media. And of course, I don't like to be negative. I don't want to be like that person on social. And of course, I don't want to be fake either. Like everything's hunky dory, because life is not hunky dory.
Right.
But I also strive to be a person that says, hey, listen, we all go through our boohoo moments. We all have our moments of downs, ups and downs, but chin up, let's go kick ass. And we got this, right? If I were to say there's a legacy I want to leave, it's that you can get through anything, and you could be positive, and you can lift people up. Even if you don't ever do business with them, I just hope that I can sprinkle a little bit of positivity on people, and shift their mindset. So thank you for being authentic. Okay, so let's talk about this realtor relationship and how you somehow have managed to build a reputation that if Tia's submitting an offer, it's gonna close.
Mhm.
Like, you have pride yourself in building that, and realtors love to work with you. Like an offer, what tips would you have for agents who are looking to establish relationships with other agents. Let's say they're the lead listing agent. I mean, they're not the lead listing agent, or they're not the listing agent. They're a buyer's agent, and they're submitting offers. How did you build that relationship? Because you started off where no one knew your name. How did you get to the point where you're like, look, when we do business, it's going to stick, it's going to close?
So I am very submissive when it comes to being the buyer's agent as far as getting along with the listing agent. Like a quick example, I showed a condo on Saturday. And when I got, I'm sorry, Monday. And when I got there, they told me that it's only 9 to 5 showings. Well, she let me up to go see it, but I let the agent know. I said, hey, it's only 9 to 5. You need to probably update that in your MLS. And I guess he didn't like that very much. And he was like, you be a good buyer's agent. At least you got in and let me handle the listings. I didn't say anything. I just asked him, hey, do you have any offers yet? Completely ignored him. And now we're under contract. And now he wants to meet for coffee. And, you know, he's like, thinks I'm wonderful. Thanks for getting it done. I mean, I don't need to be like, hey, I have, you know, the bigger balls and I'm going to be nasty.
I sold 18 million.
Right. I don't do any of that. I try to keep a good relationship with everyone. So even if somebody else gets snappy on the other side, I always try to just be like, look, I get it, but we all want one thing. You know, I never really try to get nasty unless someone is just completely disrespectful. But I am not that person to be like, do you know who I am? Do you know what I like? You would speak to me and probably think, oh, this girl doesn't really sell like that. She's a nice person. Like you can tell I know my stuff, but I am not going to be that person that's trying to be nasty back or school you on your listing, because guess what? When they have multiple offers, the last thing you want as a listing agent is for the buyer's agent to call you and say, where did you get this price from? Why do you think it's going to be that high? But this is too high. You think this is going to appraise? Like then the listing agent starts becoming offended. Yeah, defensive. Okay, well, I mean, I think I know what I'm doing, right? You know, so I try to go in and just be as friendly as possible. Like, what can I do to make this happen? Doesn't matter how much real estate I sell, and I will look your numbers up if you're nasty to me on the other end. So even if you sold 2 million in sales and I did 18 million, I will still treat you with respect because I just want to get the deal done. And you just never know. Literally these last 2 months, 4 of my deals have gotten accepted because they knew who I was and they've done a deal with me before. And they said, I know how you work. You answer your phone. You are responsive. You get to the closing table and you're pleasant to work with. This business is so small. And I think that so many people want to go in like, oh, do you know who I am? And I do this and I do that. And I've been in business for 30 years. And then you're burning bridges because the next time around that you will probably come in contact with this person, they're not going to want to work with you again. So I build these relationships, you know, and I try to be as kind as possible. And I mean, just like this agent, I just ignored his text and moved on to the next thing. I mean, I was a little flustered by it. I'm like, oh, okay, I don't want to say it, but I'm glad I didn't because my client liked the condo and now we're under contract and it's about my client, not me.
Yeah, I love that. That is great advice. I mean, I think if anybody's listening to this and is thinking about how to build relationships with agents, I mean, she just said it. Being, you know, friendly, being polite, being, you know, accommodating and respecting your fellow peers on the other side of this is going to get you so much further than being, you know, a tyrant or being a bully. And you know what, listing agents listening, because Tia also is a listing agent too. It's not like she doesn't only work with buyers. You know, you get nothing by being that rude person. Like, and I get it. Like we carried a lot of listings, and it's hard when you do have a lot of you know, listings, and you gotta, especially in the last 2 years, where for every one house, how many offers were we getting, how many calls? You know, it does get a little frustrating and overwhelming because, you know, you have a timeline, or you'll put on the MLS like, hey, offers are due by this time, and submit the offers via this link, and people still want to call, and we were fielding 200 calls per listing, and it was overwhelming, and we obviously had to put some things in place, but it was never perfect. But at the end of the day, we're just trying to get the same job done, represent our clients, and do the best we can. And it was those pleasant agents that said, hey, listen, I see you guys carry quite a few, I hope that when I submit on the next one,
Right.
we could work together again. And of course we never blackball anybody, but like if you're rude, it doesn't make for pleasant negotiations. It doesn't help. And at the end of the day, the pool of agents that dominate the majority of the business, believe it or not, we all have each other's backs. Like we will be like, hey, what do we got to do to make this work? And like let's do what's let's get our clients to the finish line. And also, like, hey, I can't wait to with you on the next one.
Right.
That's powerful when someone says, I can't wait to work with you on the next one. You guys were super awesome.
The
So,
relationship part is very important. Like
yeah.
I can't even stress how important it is. I literally 3 or 4 of my offers have been with agents that know me, and I've done deals with them. And that's how, I mean, I got an FHA offer accepted 2 weeks ago
Yeah.
with a house that's going to market 2 days because the agent knew me. So
Wow.
that is something that I can't stress enough. Like you need to be kind and build the relationships because that's really what's going to help you in this market.
I love that. So, of course, one of the things that is a common topic right now is the market shift. And, you'll hit me up and I'll kind of give you my perspective. And, we kind of putting our oxygen mask on and just saying, breathe.
Mhm.
I've been through a couple market shifts and, we come out stronger. Tough times don't last, tough people do. And I feel very lucky that you trust me as a friend and hopefully a mentor. And I know that we've actually had this relationship even before we both work at the same brokerage, EXP. But prior to that, I was Remax, you were Exit, and you would call me even then for advice. And it's really funny when we became friends, how this all worked out. But earlier I had asked you, what do you tell an agent who maybe doesn't have the business that you have, doesn't have the sphere that you have, or maybe just doesn't have the finances to, invest in the business, or maybe the time for the sweat equity? What advice do you have for them as they are kind of going through this, maybe checking their ego, putting it to the side and saying, okay, what I need to do to thrive in today's market? What do you recommend?
I mean, I'm a big advocate for teams. I mean, I've sent people to your team. I see it like it's not always you have to, you're learning, right? So you pay to learn. I mean, sometimes people think, oh my God, I'm giving up so much of my money, but you're learning. You're learning from some of the best people in the industry. I mean, they get to have access to someone like you or another mega team or whatever it is. And that to me is priceless, right? And so I tell agents who really are, they're like, I don't really know where to start. Could jump on a team, learn, understand what it's like to deal with buyers, have contracts, get your feet wet, and if in a year or two you feel like you can do it on your own, go right ahead. It's not easy and not everybody. And I tell people that ask me, like, how do you do what you do? I mean, my story is not like, oh my God, I was struggling. And I mean, I was lucky. I had parents that took care of me. I had a boyfriend that took care of me. So not everyone can be in the same position that I was in. So I say join a
I'll
team.
take care of my agents. Bring them to me. I'll take care of them.
Right. Like join a team. Go and get the knowledge. That's the best way to start. You don't have to dish any money out. It's like, if guess what, my Zillow bill is due every single month whether or not I sell or I do or I don't. So sometimes I might have a bad month and I still have to pay that bill. When you're on a team, you're not paying for anything. You're not having to dish out that money. So I, my biggest thing I tell agents, you want to start somewhere, join a team. If you don't have the $10,000, $15,000, $20,000, $30,000 cushion for 6 months that it could take to possibly get a deal.
Yeah. And I think the way I look at it is borrowed authority and borrowed success, and like our success is their success. And, to all the team leaders out there that take the risk and build something because you feel inspired to help others, and or you have enough business that you want to share with others. I think there is this misconception that when you join a team, you're giving something up. But it actually, if you look at it the other way, is like you're being brought into something that's pretty special, and the team leaders are willing to share that until I call it like a rock, like a launch pad. You
Mhm.
know, come here, we're going to launch you, right? We're going to help you build your database. We're going to help you get this, the credibility. You guys, right, in the streets, they call it receipts. I'm going to get you some receipts, right, that you could show that you have had experience in closings. And, you know, every closing that we
Right.
have is an extension of that agent. They get to share that. And, you know,
Mhm.
that motion and that activity gives people the credibility that they need to be like, wow, you guys are like winning there. Like, you guys got activity going, and like people trust you guys. And our thing is like, we don't want to hold you hostage forever. We want to help you, right? And it's not even hostage. It's like, let us guide you, and you're going to learn. You basically can accelerate your real estate career in a shorter amount of time, so that then you can be ready. And I'm proud to know we've helped hundreds and hundreds of agents launch their real estate career, now thousands of agents, because of what we've been able to experience. And there's a lot of great teams out there. Our team is not for everyone. You even send me people, and I'm like, they got to be a good fit. If
Right.
they're not a good fit, then we don't want, because we're not looking to be just another, you know, a team that, and again, like, we have attrition, it's not perfect. And then there's life that happens. But, you know, what we do know is we successfully help people grow in this business. And oftentimes we help them determine real estate isn't for them, because it's not for everybody. It looks so glorified, but it's not for everyone. But it is for those who love it and really want to grow and want to grow themselves. So I appreciate you being a proponent for teams. So you did keep your word that when we were going to be, you know, when we met and you were like, you're going to be my friend and you're not going to ignore me. And I was like, look, lady, I'm busy. And next thing you know, we're like friends. And I really appreciate you, you know, doing that. I was on a call today with a friend in South Florida, and I did the same thing to her like 5 or 6 years ago, maybe longer. And called her and I was like, look, I've heard a lot about you. You don't know me. And actually, I heard things about her that you would have thought weren't things that would inspire me to call her. But I just thought, I was like, you're a boss, you're doing it. You know, like you got numbers, you got receipts, you know, you are a queen, and I need to know you. I feel like our energies are similar, and like we've become such great friends. She's become one of my best friends, and I was actually on her team huddle today, and they celebrated her birthday, and they invited me to be a part of it. And we don't even work at the same company, which is what you and I, like, we didn't work at the same company.
Yeah.
And I remember when your broker and I were in discussions of possibly joining forces at EXP, you called me and you said,
Yeah.
hey, is it true that you are thinking about going to EXP? And of course, full disclaimer, once my contractual obligation is over, then I may consider it, right? That was my words to you. And you're like, if this is true, I am so happy, because now I get to like bug you and I won't feel bad like I'm cheating on my broker, because we used to be competitors. Your broker and I used to be competitors, who's now he's my partner, Gil. And I never forget that you were like, okay, so if you're doing this, like we are totally like gonna like do this together. And it's pretty awesome. Like, you've been at EXP what, 3 years now?
Yeah.
And it's funny because you are not a recruiter. Like, let's just debunk that. You're not a recruiter, right? So they say, but you're a producer, and producers are attraction, right? Producers are attractors. And you know, you've been able to inspire a lot of agents, and you have an amazing, impressive organization of almost 70 agents in your organization, and you've never owned a brokerage, you've never had a team, or you had a little leads team that you tried, but you're like, but what you have done is been a leader to others who wanted to grow their business. And it's really wild to know that that decision brought so many of us together to just say, I can now call you and not feel guilty about calling you about helping me with my business, and my broker won't get jealous.
Right.
And then now you know, we've just all been able to help each other grow, and I'm just so proud of you. And would you ever open a brokerage?
No. Like,
Did you
no.
ever imagine that you would have people that trust you and say, hey, you inspired me? And, you know, you have what we call an organization of 70 agents, which I know brokerages that don't have 70 agents.
Right.
Why do you think you have 70 agents that have trusted you to say, hey, Tia, I want to do this with you. And thanks for inspiring me.
Well, I mean, I have some great people that have come under me and have brought other people, you know, and Um, I'm always willing to help people, so like anybody that calls me, even people that are not in my downline, like they're like, hey, I have a question. Do you think you can, like, sure. I believe in karma. So I'm like, when you do good to people, then good comes back to you.
I
I
love that.
never want to be that person that's like, oh, I don't want to help people, or oh, you need to pay me for my help, or you need to do. Now, if I'm spending hours and hours and hours, okay, we're doing a deal together and that's different. But if you have a question, like I'm always willing to help people, even people who I don't benefit from. I mean,
I
that's just
love that.
always been my thing.
Well, I mean, I know why they look up to you, because they've even told me, like Tia has walked those shoes, like walked the miles that I want to walk, right? She's a great agent. She's been able to build a sustainable business that, is proven and repeatable year over year over year. You have a TC and you've scaled, right? I remember when you didn't have a TC and you called me one day and I was like, you need a TC. I was like, that's the first thing we're going to do for you. And then you more than doubled your business, I would say, or, your
No,
business grew significant because you got your time back to focus on growing your business. But like, I know you share with others, you're always, trying to connect people. And, I think people see themselves in you, in the sense of like, I could be a top agent and not run a large team. I could be a top agent and have a life. I could be a top agent and have a TC and build a brand that's pretty awesome. And I remember getting the call from Brittany Pride, and she's, says, yeah, I've been watching Tia for years. I'm
yeah,
inspired by her. And then when she saw that all of us were all aligned and together, she was like, and I get you, and I get this person, and I get this person, and I get this person. Then it was just one big blended family. I feel like we're a blended family, right? But I'm just so grateful that, all of this came to light and that we get to grow together and impact people's lives together, and that you just continue to lead the way, and are willing to give agents advice on, look, if you want this, you got to treat it like a business, right?
mm-hmm.
You got to be out there and be authentic, and you got to work nice with other realtors, because if you want to be respected, you have to give respect and be kind.
Yeah.
And you just exude what the majority of agents want, which is, a business where they can thrive. And I'm just so proud of you, and all that you have accomplished, and how much you are always advocating for others to also win. You have been a huge inspiration for me. I mean, you've also witnessed my journey as, when we met, and I want to believe that I'm a completely different person, but I believe I'm a completely different person because I'm around people like you that inspire me to want to be a better person. And that's usually in, mind, body, and soul, right? So we're all on this journey of just growth, right? Growth and discovering who we are. Any final words? Any final words for anyone who just, is looking to build, and who just is, maybe having uncertainty in today's market? What words of encouragement do you have for them?
I mean, in this market, it's tough, So I would just say for your buyers and your sellers, because now we're shifting slightly, right? We might not be selling homes in 2 hours anymore. It might take a week or two to get it under contract. Is set the expectations for your clients, for your buyers and your sellers. Even if you feel, nervous that, oh, I don't want to scare them, or I don't want them to be upset with me because I tell them something they don't want to hear. But at the end of the day, that's our job. That's what we have to do. So we need to set those expectations. Communicate, answer your phones. Be kind, like I said, to the other agent on the other side, whether it's buyer's agent or listing agent. Just treat it like a real business, make sure that you answer your phones, you're communicating, and trying to be as kind as possible. And the third thing is create those relationships with the agents, because that's very important.
Yeah.
Very, very important in the deal and outside of the deal. Have lunch with people, hang out with them, make friends. I think that goes a long way.
Yeah, we have this really weird realtor community of friends. And it's funny because I know some people say they don't have that in their market. They don't have friends who are realtors because they look at each other like competition. And
Right.
I think with us, it's like, this is our community. Like, we like network with other realtors because, you know, we happen to do the same thing. We understand each other. We go through a lot of the same things. So you don't have to look at realtors as your competition. A lot of them can be your mentors. A lot of them can be, you know, your friend, even if you're not at the same company. Tia and I were friends even when we weren't at the same company, even when I wasn't her broker. And I was okay with being her friend, even if I wasn't her broker or she wasn't on my team. And it's really awesome to know that there are really great people who want to see you succeed, even if you're not, you know, working in the same office, and you can still pick their brain and just, you know, get to know them. So, my dear friend, I'm so proud of you. Thank you so much. Don't forget to follow Tia. You can hit her up on Facebook. You're pretty active on Facebook, more than Instagram, right?
I'm starting to get better with Instagram.
Yeah. So make sure you follow Tia. She's amazing, a really big rock star in Orlando, Florida. Think of her for any of your referrals because she will get it done because she is a closer. And just, you know, for any inspiration, just hit her up. So, Tia, thank you so much for being one of our amazing Fire Friday guests. We love you. Thank you so much for inspiring us, and a place where you can dream, motivate, and inspire each other and do this through real estate. So thanks, my love. We'll see you
Thank
guys soon
you.
on the next one.